The motorcade drifted away from the border like a tired animal returning from a hunt with empty jaws. Sunlight stabbed the windshields. Dust rose, then slowly fell, as if the road itself was holding its breath. Inside the lead car, Ibrahim Traore sat in silence. Not the calm silence of victory, but the heavy silence of unfinished duty. His red beret rested in his hands, not on his head. All morning, they had chased ghosts. Abandoned warehouses, whispered tips, smugglers who vanished minutes before arrival. Every lead dissolved into heat and dust. Every promise ended in nothing. The air conditioner hummed, useless against the weight pressing on his chest. Failure. At a wide intersection, the traffic light snapped red. Cars jerked to a stop. Life spilled into the street. Vendors weaved between bumpers, balancing trays of peanuts, phone cards, water sachets. A bus wheezed like an old man with bad lungs, coughing out thick black smoke. Horns argued. Voices overlapped. Then Ibrahim saw him. An old man, thin, frail, bent slightly forward like life itself had been leaning on him too long. A wooden cane tapped uncertainly against the zebra crossing. In his other hand, he clutched a brown envelope as if it contained his last excuse to keep going. A delivery van swerved close. The driver leaned out, irritation dripping from his voice. "Move! You scratch my paint, you pay!" The old man flinched. The cane slipped. The envelope fell. Papers exploded across the asphalt. Pharmacy slips, hospital referrals, folded notes, scattering like frightened birds. One photograph slid farther than the rest. It slapped gently against the bumper of Ibrahim's car. Ibrahim's breath stopped. Time folded in on itself. The photo was faded, corners torn, colors drained by years. But the smile burned clear. His father. And beside him, a scarred face Ibrahim knew deeper than memory. His heart jolted hard against his ribs. "Stop," Ibrahim said. The driver hesitated. "Sir, we can clear the road in 2 minutes." "I said stop." The brakes bit. Before security could react, Ibrahim opened the door and stepped into the street. Noise crashed over him. Horns, shouts, vendors calling. But he heard none of it. He knelt, gathered the scattered papers with his own hands. Hospital slips, radiology requests, a referral note for St. Camille Clinic. The envelope smelled of glue, dust, and quiet desperation. The old man's breath rattled. His hands trembled on the cane. Ibrahim looked up. Clouded eyes stared back, then sharpened with recognition. A memory struck like lightning. Rain, night, a roof beam collapsing. Strong hands dragging a boy from under splintered wood. "Baba," Ibrahim whispered. The scar on the man's brow seemed to deepen as disbelief melted into recognition. "Ibra." A ripple passed through the crowd. Gasps. Phones lifted. A guard stepped forward. Ibrahim raised a hand, calm, steady, unshakable. He took the old man's elbow the way a son steadies a father. "It's me," he said softly. "I am here." The van driver turned pale. "Excellency, I didn't know." He was blocking. Ibrahim turned, voice quiet but sharp enough to cut steel. "Is a man blocking your road? Or is your impatience blocking your humanity?" Silence fell. Even the bus driver lowered his horn. Ibrahim guided the old man into the shade of the sedan. His shirt was clean but thin. His shoulders sloped under invisible weight. "Why are you alone?" Ibrahim asked gently. "Why didn't you come to me?" The old man tried to smile. "The palace is for kings," he said. "I taught my boy never to beg." Then his voice cracked. "And Mariam, your mother, she would have slapped me if I asked." The name hit Ibrahim like a fist. He swallowed. "We'll talk about mothers later," he said, steadying his breath. "For now, we heal what hurts." He turned to his aide. "Call St. Camille. Prepare radiology. We're bringing family." Then to the van driver, without heat but without mercy. "Park. Help gather the papers." Quietly. "Yes, Excellency." A small hand appeared. It was Abdu, the tissue boy, holding the fallen photograph. "Sir, is this yours?" Ibrahim slid it carefully back into the envelope. "It's ours." He turned back to Mori. "Have you been eating?" A faint shrug. "I manage." The clinic said, "Come back with money for the scan." I sold the old radio. Ibrahim's jaw tightened. He lifted the red beret, placed it gently on Mori's head. "From this moment," he said, "you are not alone. You will not beg, and you will not bargain with pain." A guard whispered, "Excellency, the light has changed." Ibrahim didn't look back. "Then let the city wait one more minute for kindness." He helped Mori into the car. Hospital. No sirens. As they drove away, the crowd exhaled. Abdu stood still, watching the red beret disappear through traffic. A small smile touched his lips. Inside the car, Mori closed his eyes, clutching the envelope. "I promised Adama," he whispered. "If anything happened, I would carry you until you could carry yourself." "You did," Ibrahim replied, watching the city slide past. "Now it's my turn to carry you." Behind them, the red light turned green, and the city remembered how to move. Adama would be proud of that sentence. "He taught it to me," Ibrahim said quietly, "and you made sure I never forgot it." The sedan slipped back into traffic, carrying two men bound by an old promise, and a new one written not in ink, but in a hospital hallway where dignity had been restored. The city changed as they drove. Wide roads tightened into narrow veins. Streets twisted like knotted rope. Walls leaned close, listening. Mori tapped the window. "Here." The car stopped before a squat mud-brick house, its tin roof stitched together with flattened oil cans. Rust bloomed where rain had won old battles. A crooked plank sign hung above the door. "Tile repairs. Shoes. Stoves. Small miracles." The last three words had been scratched out. Ibrahim stepped out. The air smelled of glue, leather, and old charcoal. Chickens pecked bottle caps. Somewhere, a radio played a song too tired to finish itself. A woman rinsing cassava glanced up, froze, then bent back to her work. Inside, dim light filtered through patched plastic sheets. Tools lined the walls. Hammers, rasps, awls. Their handles polished smooth by decades of honest hands. A faded calendar clung to the wall by a single tack. Beneath it, a folded mat. Mori's bed. "You sleep here?" Ibrahim asked softly. "Close to the glue," Mori replied dryly. "So I can scold it if it dries too fast." A laugh came from the doorway. "He scolds everything," the cassava woman said. "Even the rooster if it crows late. And he feeds half the children when I travel." Mori grumbled, embarrassed, but pride flickered in his eyes. On the workbench sat another envelope, thicker, swollen, tied with brittle string. Inside were letters, his mother's looping handwriting, his own childish scrawls, and a photograph Ibrahim had never seen. Mariam, laughing, belly round with life. Adama behind her, arms around her shoulders. Ibrahim's throat closed. "Where did this come from?" Mori sat slowly. "Adama gave me a copy before you were born," he said. "He said, if I ever forget to be brave, remind me who I protect." He swallowed. The night of the rain, it fell from his pocket. Memory needs a body. A shadow filled the doorway. A man in a gray cap stepped in, flicking a lighter. Two thin boys followed, ledgers tucked tight to their chests. "Afternoon," the man said. "My uncle owns this place. I came for the balance." Ibrahim didn't raise his voice. "Your name?" "Cater," the man replied, eyes shifting. "There was a notice," Cater continued smoothly. "Late fees, security, paperwork." Mori fumbled in his pocket. "I sold the radio. I can pay 1/3 now. 1/3 next week." "No," Cater cut in. "The terms changed." "How?" Ibrahim asked. "Neighborhood security," Cater said. "Important visitors bring trouble. Crowds damage property." Ibrahim stepped forward. His voice stayed low, but the room felt smaller. "This is not a place you walk into with excuses," he said. "If you came to demand money, you will also stand in truth." Silence thickened. Kader snapped his lighter shut. I will cover the balance, Ibrahim said. Not as a bribe, as restitution. He turned slightly, voice steady as stone. From tonight, anyone who invents fees for elders will answer to inspectors. And to me. New numbers will be posted on every block. Kader swallowed. Yes, Excellency. A misunderstanding. I only follow orders. Then follow better ones. Ibrahim turned to the boys. Your names. Hamid, said the taller one. Samba, whispered the smaller. Do you enjoy this work? Ibrahim asked. Hamid hesitated. It pays. It pays to steal from men who once taught your fathers how to tie their shoes, Ibrahim said. Tomorrow, you bring your hands to St. Camille's gate. Apprenticeships, carpentry, shoemaking, welding. Learn to build, not to break. Samba stared at Mori's tools. Really? Really? Mori said, his voice cracking with pride. I'll teach you how to speak to leather until it forgives your mistakes. It's finished, Ibrahim said. Leave. The workshop exhaled. Isatu wiped her face. I'll bring rice, she muttered. Old man, Ibrahim said gently. You bring okra. Mori sighed. I promised Adama I'd never eat a president's food with dirty hands. Then wash, Ibrahim replied with a soft smile. Tonight we eat like we did when the roof leaked and we placed bowls under the drops. Outside, the alley breathed. Children chased bottle caps. Women weighed cassava. Boys practiced toughness they hadn't earned yet. Tomorrow, Ibrahim said, looking out, we begin. Quiet desks, honest ledgers, apprenticeships, the first stitches. Mori leaned on the bench, voice calm, certain. Your mother used to say, the best repairs are invisible. You don't see the stitch. You just see the shoe walk again. Ibrahim nodded. Then we stitch this city until it remembers who gave it feet. Evening settled gently. Lamps buzzed on, their light pooling in rain puddles like small moons. Inside the stall, okra bubbled on a single burner. Isatu stood in the doorway with a bowl of rice. Mori washed his hands slowly, carefully, like a man preparing for something sacred. No palace forks, he warned. Ibrahim smiled faintly, pulling up a stool. He placed the photograph of Mariam and Adama where the lamplight could find it. Tonight, he said, we eat the way truth tastes. They ate in silence. The okra was sharp, the rice heavy with memory. Finally, Ibrahim spoke. Tell me everything, Mori. No pieces left out. Mori's eyes stayed on the photograph. His voice shook, then steadied. Your father, they called him Daylight. He lit every room. After the railroad, he joined the gendarmerie. He hated cheating scales. He slapped hands off rigged weights and shouted, Start again! Your mother, Mariam Sonogo. She laughed with her whole body. She scolded doctors, fed stray cats, wore her scarf like she carried the sun. He paused. They met after a storm tore our roof. Adama smashed his thumb chasing tin sheets. Mariam stitched him up while scolding him about ladders. He swore he'd marry the first woman who could heal him and terrify him at the same time. A weak smile. He stole flowers from the governor's fence. She made him wait a month. Then Mori's hand trembled. Then came the night of rain. Ibrahim leaned closer. You were there. Yes, Mariam had just finished a double shift. Adama came to fetch her. He hated those mining trucks at the Shaytree Bend. Filed reports. Complained. They told him to stop making enemies. Mori swallowed. Adama said, Rain washes mud, not conscience. That night, 3 trucks came too fast. Oil on the road. Rain everywhere. Adama swerved into the ditch to shield her. His voice broke. The truck clipped the rear door. When I arrived, its horn was stuck, screaming like a wounded animal. Silence pressed in. Your father's wipers froze mid-wipe, Mori whispered. His arm was still around Mariam's shoulders. She whispered my name, he said. Look after him. I never knew if she meant you or Adama. Maybe both. The room went completely still. What happened to his reports? Ibrahim asked quietly. They disappeared, Mori said, bitterness cutting through his calm. Pages vanished. The mine paid for a culvert, put up a slow sign, sent a wreath to the funeral. He scoffed softly. That was all. I sat, his eyes darkened. We all knew, she said. But knowing isn't the same as changing. Ibrahim's jaw tightened. Tomorrow, he said, voice steady, final. Every convoy stops for brake checks. Gendarmes answer to the road authority, not the mine. Every dangerous bend gets light and camera. We open old files, or we write new ones with names. He paused. The Shatri bend will have no wreaths, only crossings that keep families alive. Mori's eyes softened. Daylight would like that. A knock broke the silence. TZ, a nurse in a faded cardigan, stepped in. Abdu stood beside her, clutching a plastic bag. I worked night shifts with Mariam, TZ said softly. I kept some of her things. Inside the bag lay a worn notebook. Mariam's handwriting curved across the cover. Remedies, a bus ticket, a pressed flower, and one folded page. Ibrahim opened it. If anything happens, raise him braver than metal men. Teach him kindness is not weakness. Protect his hands so he can build. When he doubts, send him to the shea trees. Remind him we were going home. Silence fell like prayer. I sat, whispered. She once forced the headmistress to let me finish exams with my baby in my lap. This feels like her hand again. Abdu tugged TZ's sleeve. Sir, about the shoes. Still true. It is, Ibrahim said firmly. He turned to TZ. Will you teach at the quiet desk? Show people how to ask without shame. Her eyes filled. She nodded. Another knock. The van driver stood in the doorway, hat in hand, shame written across his face. Beside him stood a boy with a cast. Excellency, the man said, voice shaking, I spoke ugly today. My son fell from a ladder. I forgot the road belongs to all of us. He held out a few folded bills. For the clinic fund. Mori studied the boy. Bring him tomorrow, he said gently. I'll make a brace that fits. No charge. The man bowed deeply. Ibrahim placed the money beside Mariam's notebook. The first seed of the quiet desk fund, he said. No plaques, just stories that say, we remembered our manners. They finished the rice. The room hummed like family. Ibrahim lifted the red beret and placed it back on Mori's head. Slow, careful, like a vow. Tomorrow, he said, we go to the shea trees. Tomorrow, Mori echoed, gripping the notebook like a heartbeat. Outside, lamps hummed. The night didn't hold its breath in fear, but in anticipation. Sunrise dawn. The promise becomes action. Dawn rinsed the city clean. Pale light stretched across fields. Birds stitched thin lines through the sky. Ibrahim's car moved without sirens. Behind it, a road authority pickup. 2 gendarme bikes. In the back seat, Mori held Mariam's notebook like a holy book. Isatu had packed millet cakes. Abdu sat upright in the pickup, hugging his empty school bag like armor. Hamid and Samba clung to the tailgate, fear already turning into hope. The road curved. The shea tree bend appeared. Ibrahim raised his hand. The convoy stopped. The trees seemed to listen. The bend leaned wrong, scarred with skid marks, edges crumbling like forgotten promises. Mori stepped down first. His cane sank into the verge. Mariam, daylight, he whispered. Then he looked at Ibrahim. We are here. The road authority chief checked her clipboard. The grade is off, she said. 2 degrees too steep. Banked the wrong way. Truck skid. Then fix it, Ibrahim replied. Today. Rumble strips. Regrade the camber. Zebra crossing for clinic staff. Solar light and camera. Brake check station 2 kilometers back. She hesitated. The mine owns the trucks. The state owns the road, Ibrahim said. A white SUV roared up. Miss Pute stepped out. Crisp shirt, practice smile. Excellency, we care about safety. We brought filters for the village. A guard lifted a glossy donation photo. Ibrahim didn't look at it. Open your maintenance logs, he said. Brake checks, driver hours, storm reports, complaints. Pute stiffened. We can provide summaries. Not summaries, Ibrahim cut in. The ledger. Those are proprietary. Mori tapped his cane. So is grief, he said quietly. And we've shared ours with this road for 20 years. A bicycle bell jingled. Salif, the tea seller, pedaled forward and bowed. He handed Ibrahim a grease-stained carbon copy. Complaint. Convoy 17B. Brake failure. Request for independent inspection. Signed, Sergeant Adama Traore. The air shifted. It proves the road remembers what men tried to forget, Ibrahim said. He handed it to the road chief. Scan it. Archive it. Copy to the prosecutor. The missing pages have hands again. A gendarme captain stepped forward. I was a lieutenant then, he said, removing his cap. I stayed silent. That was my signature. He swallowed. Let me lead the brake check here, until I earn the right to watch another father drive safe. Ibrahim nodded. Lead it. Train someone younger beside you. Pute tried again. We'll fund the solar light. You'll fund the regrade, Ibrahim said. And rest stops. Not charity. Debt. Abdu slipped down from the pickup. Sir, may I paint the first stripe? Ibrahim crouched. You'll paint. Then you'll go to school and learn how to draw straight lines with numbers. The road crew unrolled paint. Abdu dragged the brush carefully. Hamid and Samba hauled gravel, hands learning to build instead of beg. Villagers gathered. TZ opened the quiet desk. Ask your name, she said. Not your shame. The van driver's son raised his braced arm in thanks. By mid-morning, the bend wore its first white teeth. Salif poured tea. Mori guided Ibrahim's hand to the ground, then to his chest. We built something they can't bribe. Ibrahim looked at the trees. This place will not carry wreaths, he said. It will carry mothers home. Daylight Bend, he added. For words only. We remember. We repair. By noon, the last stripe dried. The bend is safer, Ibrahim said. But the work doesn't stop here. At St. Camille, the quiet desk buzzed. People waited calmly. TZ stamped dates. Abdu, now in clean shoes, practiced writing his name again and again. Hamid and Samba waited for workshop keys. The doctor approached. Operating theater. Friday. First case. Mori straightened, gripping his cane. I won't run from the table. You'll walk from it, Ibrahim promised. Days passed, stitched together by small, steady repairs. Roads regrade. Brake checks staffed. Hotline numbers nailed to alley walls. Even Cater returned, quieter now. I'm giving back what I took, he said. Let the apprentices stay. They stay, Mori replied. But you paint with them. The sign went back up. IO repairs. Shoes. Stoves. Small miracles. Friday arrived. Under bright surgical lights, Mori squeezed Ibrahim's hand. If I don't return, he whispered, tell Adama. He owes me a knife. Ibrahim leaned close. You'll collect it yourself. The doors closed, and the city waited, not helpless, but believing. You'll complain about the porridge before noon, Ibrahim teased, a faint smile breaking through the tension. 2 hours felt like a lifetime. Then the doors opened. The doctor stepped out, mask lowered, eyes calm. Clean removal, he said. Everything went well. Relief rolled through the corridor like rain after drought. When Mori woke, his voice was thin but steady. Read me her line. Ibrahim opened Miriam's notebook, fingers careful, reverent. Tell him kindness is not soft. Mori smiled weakly. Then don't be soft with me, he said. Help me sit. I want to face the door. He returned home slower, but lighter. The alley seemed to recognize him. TZ arrived with the first ledger. 20 names helped with scans and medicine. No titles, no favors, just people. Photos followed. The new sign at the curve stood bright in the sun. Daylight Bend. We remember. We repair. The workshop hummed again. Hamid stitched straight seams. Samba oiled hinges until they sang. Abdu sanded soles after school, asking questions that reached far beyond leather. Salif carried tea for everyone. The van driver returned, this time smiling. His son ran free of the brace, holding a drawing. 2 shea trees, for words carved into a post. Mori framed it carefully, finally replacing the old calendar. Ibrahim kept coming. No sirens, no cameras. He ate rice at the workbench, listened more than he spoke. He signed a decree. Quiet desks were now protected by law. Measure our success, he told the cabinet, by the elders who no longer fear a knock at night. Even the mine complied. Logs arrived. Drivers stopped with vouchers for Salif's tea. Thank you for waiting, the notes read. Near dusk, Ibrahim stood alone at Daylight Bend. A bus rounded the curve safely. A nurse slept against the window. No drama, just safety. The road doing its job. Sunday came. No banners. No speeches. Just people. Villagers. Road crews. The gendarme captain. TZ holding Miriam's notebook. Ibrahim gestured to Mori. Leaning on a cane sanded smooth by Abdu, Mori spoke. I'm no speech man, he said. I fix heels. Pause. Sometimes a country is just that. A place that can walk again. He looked at Ibrahim. My son stopped at a red light and picked up some papers. That pause, he said, started all of this. Ibrahim spoke last. Leadership isn't measured by how many cars follow you, he said calmly. It's measured by how quickly you step out when someone falls. He scanned the faces. By the habit of stopping at red lights, not to curse the delay, but to notice who cannot cross. His voice softened. Some days we will fail, then we stop again, and again, until stopping becomes instinct. He looked at Abdu, at Hamid, at Samba, at Isatu and Salif. He thought of Adama, of Miriam, of a city learning to speak to its wounds. Carry this home, he finished. True power is the courage to kneel, the strength to lift, and the patience to stay, until what you touched can stand again. No applause, just breathing, together. Then life resumed. Market calls, tightened shoes, oiled hinges, and Daylight Bend kept its promise, carrying people safely toward doors where someone loved them enough to leave a light on. This story reminds us that real leadership is not about titles, wealth, or palaces. It is about compassion, dignity, and the courage to repair what is broken. Ibrahim showed us that true power is quiet. It lifts without humiliating, it fixes without boasting, and it builds systems that protect even the weakest. When we choose kindness over pride, and action over excuses, we create a future where no one is left behind. If the story moved you, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss another story that proves compassion is strength. Thank you for supporting stories that help the world remember how to stop and how to heal.